Good morning. We will start with a time of silence just to gather ourselves to really arrive, put down any other devices you might have, and let's just sit together quietly for a few minutes. Welcome to the Hidden Lamp Study Group, July of 2025. for those who are listening at some other time. And a particular welcome to those who are attending for the first time. We nearly always have people who have found the study group. If that's the case for you, if you would be willing to just raise your virtual hand or your actual hand and hold it up there until it turns into a virtual hand, which is a good thing to know how to do in this particular group as well. We'd love to just see you and welcome you. Welcome, Katie. Anyone else? Someone might be trying to find their virtual hand. Looks like Gail. If you just keep your hand up like this, it usually turns into a virtual hand if you got it to the screen. But we can see, I can see you anyway. Great. And Nancy, wonderful. Glad you found us. There's multiple screens, so let me just take a quick look and see if I see anyone else with their hand. Oh, and I don't quite know how to pronounce your name, Mike, maybe. For some reason, it looks like it's not. You may have to find your hand on there. You can ask Bonnie. I'll introduce her in just a minute. And Marie, hello. And if there's anyone else, let me just go through the screens and double check. Keep that hand up if you're new. Okay, wonderful. So if you have any technical difficulties, you can send a chat to Bonnie at Upaya, who's on. She's our Zoom host. She's taken care of this group for quite literally years now, and I think she can. We're just going to say she can solve any problem you might have that's related to technology. So anyway, big thanks to Bonnie, as always, for really supporting this wonderful program that has now been going on for more than 5 years, started during the dark days of the pandemic. And there are many of you who have been coming for those 5 years. And thank you for your support and your enthusiasm for this program. And as always, I just want to, and you can say hello in the chat if you feel like it too, where you are, as I'm speaking or just introducing things today. So I just want to remind everyone that one of the reasons I was really moved to do this, create this program and continue it, is because I really believe in the extraordinary generosity of Upaya. Those of you who perhaps connected during the pandemic will remember that they made everything online almost instantly, which was pretty extraordinary given the difficulties of that time, and offered them freely, which is really deeply in our Buddhist tradition. And that meant that people all over the world were able to receive the gifts and the healing of Dharma practice, again, in a really difficult time. And it's not like it's not difficult now, too. So if you're moved by that and would like to support Upaya, you might have done so when you registered, but Bonnie will put the link in, and always appreciated. It also helps Upaya know that this is an important program for you, because anything that comes in through the link that she'll put in is tied to the Hidden Lamp Study Group. For those of you who don't know me, I'm one of the co-editors of the Hidden Lamp. It's not necessary to have the book if you are participating. You might enjoy it because there are pretty incredible, there's 100 stories, but also 100 reflections by contemporary women teachers, one for each story. And we don't look at the reflections because this is really our own reflection in our process today, but the reflections are quite wonderful too. There are lots of teachings in the reflections as well as in the koans themselves. And again, for those of you who are new, all you really need is to have something to write with and something to write on. And I'll be walking us through every step of this process. So it's ongoing. but there's no problem to join it. So I think you'll feel pretty much at ease once we get going. But we will be doing some pretty. There's about 20 minutes of our time together that is writing. So so be sure to have something to write with. So the process that we use every time is a process that comes from the Western monastic tradition, from the Benedictines. And Bonnie can write this in the chat. It's called Lectio Divina. And it is a way to approach a sacred text. And in this case, our sacred text will be one of the koans from the Hidden Lamp, because this is the wisdom of a woman, in this case, a particular woman from centuries ago, that is coming to us today. And so this is our opportunity to meet this woman and to do it in a way that is really contemplative, really meditative. So that's the feeling for our whole time together. In fact, I really remind you right now to pay attention to your body, to feel yourself sitting here, to feel your breath, to open up all your senses, and to be really fully present. I certainly know, as a person who's done a lot of things online, it's going to be very tempting to go elsewhere on the internet. Don't do it. Stay here, stay with us, because you are participating in a sacred contemplative process. Okay, I think that's enough intro to the process and to the Hidden Lamp. So some of you, just out of curiosity, just raise your actual hand if you had a chance to, if you heard my, or listened to, watched my Dharma talk on teachers in Zen. Okay, a few of you. So I brought up this koan. That was a couple of weeks ago. Bonnie can put the link in the chat. Don't go watch it now. But I speak sometimes on Wednesday nights as part of the Wednesday night program. And I really wanted to speak about teachers and no teachers in Zen. And this was the koan that I brought up in the middle of that talk, because I think it's a really interesting one about a first encounter between a teacher and a student. And I love that it's a woman teacher from 17th century China. I'll bet that many people, if asked, in the 17th century, so that's the 1600s, were there great women Zen masters in China? Well, yes, of course. And we're very lucky that Beata Grant, who actually lives in Santa Fe now, she's retired, incredible translator and scholar of women in China, and especially women's poetry. That was one of her specialties. Wrote this book called Imminent Nuns. Women Chan, of course it would have been Chan, not Zen. So that's the Chinese, Women Chan Masters of 17th Century China. And she has biographies and stories and poetry of many of these nuns and how they were actually related to one another. It's a really wonderful book. Although it is written by a scholar, it's very readable and extraordinary and inspiring to hear these stories. So I thought this one would be nice to bring up today, so we could explore this area of the encounter or meeting that happens in a koan. So that's what we'll be doing. And I did include a few notes for this one, just because sometimes it's nice. A lot of you know I don't necessarily, give a lot of background. That's not the point. The point is to see how this story or one image or sentence for the story resonates in your own life. But sometimes it's nice to have a little background. So I'll just share this in case you didn't have a chance to look at it, which is that, and I apologize to any fact, if there is a native Chinese speaker in the crowd, and you can help us with the pronunciation, that'd be wonderful. I usually say Zhurong, but I'm not sure about that pronunciation, Zhurong. That So the title of the koan. And Bonnie's not going to put it up quite yet because we'll be in this process in a moment. But Zhurong's ship of compassion. This word, this phrase, ship of compassion, was a title bestowed upon her by the emperor, and that gives you some sense of her status as a Chan master. And I mean, what a beautiful name, ship of compassion. I really love that. It's very much tied to the Bodhisattva vow and to the way that we make vows to help whoever can get on the ship, whoever's on the ship, which can include the whole world. And so that's a little bit about where that ship of compassion comes from. And later on, there's a mention of Spirit Mountain, which is the Chinese name for Vulture Peak, which is where the Buddha did a lot of his important teaching, and especially for Zen and Chan, Vulture Peak is kind of considered, the most important place in the Buddha's life. And so this is a reference to Vulture Peak. So that's a little bit about those phrases. But again, in a way, it doesn't matter. What matters is how you respond to this story. And I'm just going to do one, because there's a really beautiful bit of poetry by her as well in here. I just thought, for the fun of it, because I might forget at the end, I'd read you this poem that is by Zhurong. And it's interesting. The title is Writing to My Feelings, the title of this poem. How many glorious seasons have passed, 49 years of springtimes. Although in this world I have no companion, if I ask my mind, I find it is my own intimate. The smell of incense disperses the early dawn. The closed shutters keep away the dusty world. From today, having woken from a foolish dream, I am the just as it is idler person of the way. So at some point, I will definitely put that in the chat so that you can see it in the chat as well. So, oh my goodness, I just got a feline visitor. Apologies for that. Hold on. So I'm looking for two volunteers to read this out loud, and it's okay if you don't have the pronunciation exactly right. But that's how we start. Is we're just going to listen, because these stories would have been passed down orally. So we're returning to that tradition. Okay, I see Cheryl. We need one more. While you're finding I'm going to remove the cat. Okay, one more. Oh, come on. We can get two. We can get two readers. Aha! Thank you. Thank you, Roja. Oh, we got Roja. So we've got Cheryl and Roja. So fantastic. So we're just going to, again, if you have a copy of the koan, just put it down, close your eyes, listen to this like you're listening to a bedtime story. So Cheryl, if you could go first.
Ziyong's Ship of Compassion. A scholar traveled a long distance to meet with Master Ziyong Chengru. He entered the hall, and he and Ziyong looked at each other. Then the scholar said, "I've come to visit this ship of compassion." But who would have guessed that the ship of compassion would turn out to be nothing but an old crone? Ziyong gave an earth-shaking roar. "What is this place? Tell me, is it male or is it female?" When the scholar couldn't reply, she said to him, "Come closer and I'll tell you." When the scholar was right in front of her, she grabbed him and said, "From the day you left Spirit Mountain, there has been no place to seek. From this day on, mother and son are reunited." The scholar said, "I trust you completely," and bowing to Ziyong, requested ordination from her.
Thank you so much. And Roja.
Hi, I'm Ruja. I will be hard to follow Cheryl's wonderful reading, but I'm going to try. Zhang's Ship of Compassion. A scholar traveled a long distance to meet with Master Zhang Chengru. He entered the hall, and he and Zhang looked at each other. Then the scholar said, "I've come to visit this ship of compassion, but who would have guessed that the ship of compassion would turn out to be nothing but an old crone?" Zhang gave an earth-shaking roar. "What is this place? Tell me. Is it male or is it female?" When the scholar couldn't reply, she said to him, "Come closer and I'll tell you." When the scholar was right in front of her, she grabbed him and said, "From the day you left Spirit Mountain, there has been no place to seek. From this day on, mother and son are reunited." The scholar said, "I trust you completely," and bowing to Ziyong, requested ordination from her.
Thank you. And I'll add one more thing, just because I think it's relevant to know this. So what we call Rinzai and Soto Zen were both in China at the time. And all of these teachers that Beata found the wonderful teachings and biographies were Rinzai teachers, which has a kind of a little bit of a ferocity to it, which you can feel in this koan. So if you're a little shocked by it, just know this is actually how Rinzai people interacted with one another. So with that, Bonnie will put the whole text in the chat. Of course, you also have it from the email that was sent out. And now we're just going to spend some time in silence. And I really want you to think of this time that you read this story as a time of zazen, as a time of meditation. So really having your back straight, really feeling your breath, feeling your body as you read. And this is a different kind of reading than we normally do. Again, this is Lectio Divina, it's contemplative reading. So you want to read slowly, savor the images that might arise in your mind. And when you get to the end, just like you would at the end of a breath, if you were paying attention to your breath, return to your next breath. You just return to the beginning again and read it again. And we'll have a few minutes of that. And just think of this as your opportunity to encounter Zhirong yourself over the centuries. And this poor scholar who is blown away by the ship of compassion. Okay, enjoy. start to notice if there are so the next time as you're going through, start to notice if there are um, parts of this koan that are speaking to you, that you have a reaction to, that you might notice in your body. You might notice that they're just a little bit more vivid to you, or kind of have some kind of effect. Maybe that as you're reading, it's like those words kind of, you say the words jump out at you. Just notice where that might be occurring as you read. So hopefully you've noticed something that struck you in some way. And what we're going to do now, this is a version of a way of working with koans that is actually quite traditional, which is sitting with um, a phrase from that koan. And so maybe you've seen several different things in the story that really spoke to you. Uh, choose one. Choose something short, maybe a sentence or even a phrase from a sentence. It's even possible that there's a single word that's really speaking to you. And write that at the top of your paper. So, and don't worry if there are three other things that you would just love to to do more with, because you can always go back and do that. And also, if you're reading it and nothing is really jumping out at you, just choose something. I can guarantee that it won't be wrong. There is no right or wrong in what we're doing here. There's only the meeting. And so whatever you choose will be great. And I'll give you a minute or two to do that, to kind of narrow down what you're going to work with, and just to say this is not always what you might consider. This is an interesting one because sometimes a koan really has a punchline, like it's the most important part, it seems, of the koan. This one has several, and so but sometimes people think, oh, I have to choose that. No, you might choose something that seems very kind of off to the side of the main point. Trust that. Trust whatever it is that you choose, because, again, that will be where it's richest for you. This is about our own encounter. And you want something short enough that, if you close your eyes, you still know that phrase. You don't have to be staring at it because it's got a bunch of clauses. And once you have that written down, again, you're really going to return to this feeling of practicing zazen. Again, this is a practice that is done especially in Rinzai Zen. And usually the phrase is given to you by your teacher. But in this case, your inner teacher has given you this phrase instead. And so with that spirit of receiving this phrase, just breathe with it. Let it ride your breath. Let it be in your body. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to get a bunch of ideas about what this means or why it's important to you. Not at this point. You're just being present with the phrase. And when your mind wanders, which it generally does in all forms of meditation, just return to the phrase with some awareness of your body as well, but really to be primarily present with the phrase. And we'll have a good 10 minutes of just sitting with this. So you can settle down. It's okay to have your video off if you want, and just be present. And notice a tendency again to maybe get bored and wander off into doing something else. Please just return. Be present with what you've chosen. So I invite you now to enter into the part of Lectio Divina where we will be doing some contemplative writing. And so you'll want to have your paper and pen or whatever it is that you're using to write with. And this phrase that you've been sitting with this whole time. This is not actually about writing about what you think the koan is about. This is an exploration through writing of how this phrase is connected to your own life and practice. So if you find yourself in your writing starting to stray towards, and this is what I think Ziyong meant by restrain yourself, come back to the phrase, even write the phrase again. And the first question that I find really helpful as I engage with this is to be curious about why this phrase spoke to you. How is it connected to your own life? How is it connected to something that's important to you? And start there. So you're really starting with the personal. And then just see where you go. As you know, any of you who've ever done any of the writing workshops with Natalie Goldberg, just let that pen lead you rather than you leading the pen or trying to edit yourself as you go along. Just let it flow so that you can be surprised, so that you can find out something that perhaps you didn't know before about yourself. And we'll have about 20 minutes for this. It's a leisurely time for writing. Again, you may become restless, but see if you can stay with it. And what often happens is that you'll have a kind of initial energy for the writing, and then you might run out and think, oh, now I'm done. Write the phrase again and see what happens again. So you just, every time you have that feeling that like, oh, I'm done. I've explored this as much as I think I need to, write the phrase again, because each time you'll drop down into another level. Some of you might find that writing in poetry is a good way to approach this. However the writing happens for you, it's fine. But just stay with it. Allow it to really be marinated in your own life, your own practice, and why this matters. So please don't wander too far away. It's okay to have your video off, but I ask that you stay within earshot so that you'll hear me if I come on to make a suggestion, and also you'll know when it ends so we can go on to the next part of our time together. All right, enjoy. You have about 5 minutes left. This is a good time, if you feel so inclined, to ask yourself the question, and this comes from Sue Moon, what I really mean to say is, and see if you can get to the heart of things. So we're at time. Go ahead and finish what you're in the middle of, and we'll go on to the next part of our time together. And for those of you who are concerned that I've mistreated my cat by removing him from my desk, let me just say he gets an enormous amount of attention from me, and he will block my view of all of you and also walk across my keyboard and potentially disconnect me from the meeting. So that's why. He's wonderful, but he's pushy. So anyway, well, good to be back. So again, I'm saying all this especially for the people who are new. Those of you who are old timers know all this already. So the next thing we do is a very particular kind of. It is part of the Lectio Divina process, and it's contemplative speaking and listening, which again, I mean, in a way, everything we've been doing today is a little bit different than how we normally approach reading or writing or listening or speaking. And so it's a wonderful practice opportunity. And what we do is we get into breakout groups of 4, but these are not like your sort of ordinary breakout groups. What we do is each person will have 5 minutes to just share something from the writing or just speak extemporaneously or just sit in silence. All of those things are fine. So we don't cede our 5 minutes to the next person if we feel like we don't want to share. We actually have the powerful experience of just sitting quietly with the 3 other people, or maybe 2, depending on the group. And then just if something comes up, kind of like Quaker meeting, if you're sitting in silence, if you're that person who's chosen to do that, you might find that there is something that you want to share or not. If you are absolutely dead set against being part of a breakout group, you should leave right now. Bonnie will enable the waiting room. You can just come in anytime in the next 20 minutes or so, and then we'll let you back in because there'll be some time where people are sharing with the whole group. But if you know that you don't want to participate and you don't leave, we could end up with groups of 2, which is not so good. If you're in a group of 3, so you just listen, the other people are actively listening. So you're just really giving your full attention as if this person is your teacher, which in a way they are. Their own personal experience is a teaching about this koan. And then when you see the little note from Bonnie that says, go on to the next person, please just finish what you're saying briefly so that the next person can have their full time. And if you're in a group of 3, at the end, you can actually talk amongst each other. But otherwise, it is simply one person speaking, everyone else listening, no asking questions or correcting the person or whatever you might be thinking about doing. You're just listening. And to be listened to with that full attention is an immense gift that we can offer one another. So we'll just give a minute for to make sure that anybody who does want to leave has done so. Looks like we're pretty stable. So in a minute. Oh, great. Looks like we are at the full set of people. And I was just about to tell Bonnie, we chat while you're in the breakout room, that I have tried to convince Beata Grant actually to join us when we've been doing something that's related to one of her really extraordinary translations. And I think she's, either she's so done being a professor that like the last thing she wants to do is come on and teach, or she's a little on the shy side. But I really, really recommend her books. I think, I haven't double checked, but I know that the kind of final big project was that Oxford University Press was going to publish a very large collection of her translation of Chinese women's poetry. So if you liked that poem, go look up more from Beata Grant. So this is the time where we have an opportunity in the larger group to share. You heard from the people that were in the breakout room with you, if you were in one. Some of you were in the waiting room. But this is an opportunity to hear more voices around this particular koan. And the thing that I love about this, even though each of us may have picked a different phrase, and we're really just reflecting on how this is related to our own life, this kind of magical thing happens where hearing the range of responses actually, I always think of it as it's like it makes the koan kind of multidimensional. So I love hearing these stories, and also it's nice for me since I'm not and for Bonnie since we're not in the breakout group anyway with anyone. So if you would like to share, and so that we can have kind of the most voices to hear, maybe choose something that's kind of the pith, the most important part of what you wrote, or maybe your moment of insight to share with us. So you can just raise your hand, and I can kind of call on you in the order that you raise your hand. No one wants to share. I don't believe this. I know this crowd.
Florence, I'm sorry. Where's the hand?
It varies depending on your device. On a laptop, it's usually right at the bottom of the screen and it says raise hand. On an iPad, it could be anywhere. But maybe, Bonnie, can you help? Do you know where it shows up?
Under reactions, go to reactions and you'll find the hand.
And
okay,
sometimes also it's under more.
Okay.
You'll see something that's
Those
a drop down
three
menu.
dots. Yes. Yeah. And then just look for something that says raise hand. We look like we have a good crowd. So this is great. But I hope that everybody who wants to share finds it, and that way we can kind of see who's interested in sharing, and we can Micah, look at that. A new person sharing. Thank you.
Hello, thank you so much for this wonderful gathering. It's really healing. From the Netherlands first time, I was struggling with a male and a female, but these are all forms, and in my heart I felt the love I have for my son. I thought this powerful force, not for me as a mother only, but in the whole world. To be felt, not just for my son, but for all living beings, all creatures. Well, that was the most what I felt in my heart.
Thank you. And I don't know if you're aware that the Hidden Lamp has been translated into Dutch.
Yes, I know. I have the German version also.
Yeah, but there's a Dutch version too.
Yeah, we have it too. We have it too.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. And Mary.
Oh, thank you. Can I just read what is
Sure.
that all right?
That sounds
okay.
Great. Yeah, just read part of it. Whatever part feels most important.
Okay.
Great.
From the day you left Spirit Mountain, there has been no place to seek. And then let me see. From the day I left Spirit Mountain, I found there was no place to seek. The stillness of a mountain lake. There was a single leaf falling softly through the autumn air. I stopped and began to find the place I had sought.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I love it when people share a poetic response. That's great. And Vanessa.
Hi. I chose the phrase Ziyong gave an earth-shaking roar and wrote about, or really sort of try to feel what a roar would feel like in my body, to really roar, to feel it, the cells vibrating, to feel it in my throat, and how that might break down the bonds, the binds that I've given myself and leave a space for something new. But then that's also quite frightening. So I wrote about that. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Vanessa. That's great. I love that, the roar. And actually, you all are doing something that is what I usually tell people to do. So thank you, which is to tell us what the phrase is before you start to speak or read. So thank you. Miriam, you're next. Oh, there you go.
I chose the same phrase, earth-shaking roar, just those two words. And I wrote about that. And towards the end, I wrote, I want to shake the earth so that we change course. What I really mean to say is that we need earth-shaking roars led by women we can trust with our enlightenment, women who are true to the promise of ending the great suffering of the world. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Miriam. Thank you so much. May it be so. And Ames.
Let's see here.
There you go.
Thanks. I chose Ziyong gave an earth-shattering roar. Imagine being a hag, a crone, a hellcat, a harpy, a shrew, a battle axe, a dragon, or a witch, but to first of all be a spiritual master.
Oh, love it. What a set of, you should give us that set of nouns there. Thank you. Cheryl.
There we go. All right. Dear Zenshin, dear Bonnie, dear Sangha, usually when we have I like to try to not read ahead and listen to it first from the people who read and then read it myself. And a lot of times when I'm reading, I don't know, and it takes a while to, but this one was like a thunderclap. And when we got to, I trust you completely, I started to cry. And all of it is just so powerful for me. So I trust you completely. And just a short bit of what I wrote was that when my son was a little guy, just a little toddler guy, little toe-headed cutie pie, we went to the beach so he could see the ocean for the first time. He was running along the beach, came to the top of the ridge and just stopped and looked out, spun around on his heels, ran back to me, leaped into my arms, too big, too big. He was just overcome with the vastness of the ocean. So, of course, hold him, call, I've got you, I've got you. And I could feel from him, I trust you completely. And when I think of Avalokiteshvara, Kuan Yin, Quan Te Am in Vietnamese, is holding that vase, that round bottom vase, to catch our tears. And other iconography is her pouring those tears into the ocean of compassion. Too big, too big. We start with Dana Paramita, to give. Do I have enough to give? Do I have enough extra? Do I have enough to give myself to the Dharma? Too big. I'm standing on the edge, knowing that I need the Dharma, I need the Buddha, I need the Sangha. I need to surrender into the arms of that love and find my original nature. I trust you completely.
Thank you. Linda.
Thank you. Thank you to my group 7. It was very powerful. And I'm just going to read, I wrote a haiku. In deep wonderment, there has been no place to seek, home with mystery.
Thank you. And I'm sure someone's going to say to you, will you please put that in the chat? So go ahead and put it in the chat. Nancy. Nancy Rao. Can you unmute? I can unmute you. Oh, there you go.
Here we
I got
go.
it.
Okay. Thank you, Monshin. Let's see. No place to seek. It's all right here. No place else. Talking with a friend the other day, we were talking about something I can't remember. She was telling me of something, and I listened into the spaciousness between us, a kind of emptiness that was full, receptive. When she finished, I might have responded in some way. I don't remember. Then we looked at each other, our eyes meeting, and she said, but it doesn't matter, does it? I said, no, it doesn't. Then we embraced and went on our ways.
Thank you. That's a beautiful description of the kind of listening, too, that I was trying to express.
Thank you, Zenshin. I called you Monshin. Zenshin.
That's okay. I don't mind. I think Monshin's pretty amazing. Thanks. Lorraine.
Me? Thank you. So, nothing but a crone, an old one at that. The laughter comes and then the roar of life flowing through, the roar of compassion, the roar of crones together, soaring with love at times of loss and heavy judgment, growling in the forest and playing in the sun, drawing students in and showing them the togetherness of nothingness, of in the momentness, celebrating being nothing but a crone, more and more of less and less, not withdrawing, but pulling in the judgy student with an earth-shaking roar or a quiet moment of contemplative presence. Let love be in your heart. Let go, let be nothing but a crone.
Thank you. I'm going to remember more and more of less and less. Let's see. I don't know quite. TEIP. Up, and you're muted. I can unmute you if you'd like. Let me up. Let's see here. Hold on. Let me unmute you. Now you're up. Let me do it. There you go. Now you're unmuted.
All right. Hello.
Hi.
I'm a little new to this, and this is very personal, and I'm going to continue. This koan has opened up a lot for me, but it doesn't maybe sound as personal. I chose the phrase, she grabbed him. Why is this ship of compassion nothing but an old crone? What does this old crone have to offer that a scholar might have missed? She grabbed him. Why? What did he experience in that moment? Surprise, fear, and unaccustomed lack of control. She started him physically, pulled him out off Spirit Mountain, grounded him into a place from which he could seek. She pulled him out of mind, story, and into an honest moment. To his credit, he felt the truth of it, and this is what his heart was open to her wisdom and his own prejudices. What I mean to say is fear drives protective postures and narratives, but maybe in a moment, if we have the courage to be with it, can also help us see through them. It's not.
I really invite you, since it's been so powerful for you, to continue the Lectio Divina, to continue the writing, and see what it has to show you. Yeah. And I appreciate that part of this is kind of written from the scholar's perspective too, because actually it takes something to give up one's what you think you know. So thank you. Marie.
Hi, thank you. And thank you to my group members. I'm sorry I left early by mistake. My phrase is Ziyong gave an earth-shattering roar, not a blow, but a roar, an opportunity to join, to become companions on the journey. And I was thinking about the earth-shaking roar that some of our patterns, or at least for me and my patterns in life, call it serendipity, call it whatever, a revelation, but there are patterns of behaviors and circumstances that if we're open, we may need to change or something like that. Then there's also the earth-shattering roar of a life that has been well lived and planned, and building a garden. And so what I really mean to say is that no idle moment is spent in the garden, is a moment wasted. If we pay attention, they're stepping stones to finding out who we really are. And so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Marie. Susan.
I had chosen the phrase, nothing but an old crone. And I just wanted to express my gratitude for one of the other members of my group who, fortunately for me, had chosen the same phrase and had written so extensively and beautifully. Obviously, with this hair, I think I fit the definition of an old crone, and certainly have been, from some recent circumstances, experiencing the diminishment of the views of old women. And she had written at the end of hers, freedom to be what I am. And it was like the clouds parted, the sun came out, and the extraordinary connections that we make in these small groups. I am just so grateful.
Thank you, Susan. And I love that, that's what happens when we listen deeply, is that we really can let in the teachings of those that we're in the present with. So that's really beautiful. Good. I'm happy to hear that you felt the freedom. So, Sokai.
Hi. I chose the phrase traveled a long distance, and I found myself partway through, I had translated it into traveled a long way. And what was significant to me was that the traveling was the point, and getting somewhere didn't matter. And that has been true figuratively and actually in my life. I've traveled lots and lots all over the world, and the travel itself often is the point. And because it changes the way that I look at the world. And so I just wanted to share with that. And it was really interesting in our group, 2 of us chose that phrase and 2 chose another one. And so we had a chance to really look at them really differently. And I just love being with y'all. Thank you.
Thank you. Anat.
I'll read what I wrote. My son has returned home after many, many, many years away. And it's been complicated and beautiful. Mother and son are reunited. I am nothing but an old crone. I am everything in an old crone. The sheep of compassion am I, and my son has returned to be reunited. He is a drunk embodiment of love and beauty, and of sorrow and regret. Mother and son are reunited. Body and soul are reunited. He is the sheep of compassion. Mother and son are reunited. Mother is son, son is mother. Home is the sheep of compassion. What I really mean is one, both one, all one.
Thank you, Anat. I was wondering if there would be resonances with mothers and sons. Thank you for sharing. Roja, I get to hear your voice again.
Yeah, it's Roja.
Roja, sorry.
I get that all the time, though.
Yes. Yes.
I raised my hand because I chose something that I didn't hear anyone else chose. The sentence is "Come closer, and I'll tell you." And my connection to this is, I started a new job. I'm a woman in a field that doesn't have a lot of women, and I deal with this preconceptions that have to do with how we see other people, how we know already who the other person is. And this concept that I recently revisited or learned again about not knowing is most intimate, and that closeness that's required in getting to know each other. And so I have a new job, and I wrote, what I really mean to say is that to hear and to be heard, I'd like to come closer, and I'd like my new colleagues to do the same thing. And my version of the earth-shaking roar is to show up differently from what people might expect, as authentic and fearless as possible, so as to surprise people and get their attention, so I can bid them and both of us to come closer to get to know each other.
Thank you. And I love that you applied this to a work situation. It's great. And just to mention to people, if you have the book, my own reflection on the old woman's relatives actually has a whole section on this come closer, where I say, if a teacher tells you to come closer, watch out. You don't know what's coming. So it's fun for me to hear the resonance with this one. I'm not sure I was thinking of this one when I wrote that, but it's clearly here. Rose.
Thank you. What a delight to hear so much good medicine from everybody. So many different teachings in one short piece. I, interestingly enough, wrote about come closer. And what actually, it was a combination of two things. It was the phrase about leaving Spirit Mountain, so leaving Vulture Peak where the Buddha gave his teachings. So leaving the place of receiving the teachings and taking them with him to come closer and closer to the ship of compassion. That's what really struck me. And I felt grabbed in my throat and my heart and my belly. And that woke for me was this feeling of intimacy with taking the teachings, which are the ship of compassion, and letting them live in these places in my body. How trustworthy this ship is that can sail on waves of suffering and joy and all that life holds, and how deeply that struck me and caused me to weep with gratitude, realizing this the trustworthiness of the teachings and also of my relationship to them, and how I can let that carry me and hold me through life, because there's plenty of waves, and to trust in that and know that it's unsinkable. So this just came at a perfect time. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for those words. I think that's a beautiful place to end the sharing. I really loved what you said. Yeah, and I was wondering whether there was anybody who might have reacted to like that part about I trust you completely. Like, can you trust like a human being or a teacher completely? Well, maybe not, right? But we can trust the Dharma. We can trust the ship of compassion. So thank you for that. That's really beautiful. So I think this would be a really fun one to make a little poem of, because I think what I'm hearing is that people chose a lot of different phrases. So if you're willing to put your phrase in the chat, we'll see what we make together. So I'm going to just turn up the chat myself so I can watch as these come in, and we'll see what we have. Ship of compassion. I trust you completely. Oh, there has been it's going very fast. Hold on. There has been no place to seek. What is this place? Shop of compassion. From the day you left Spirit Mountain, there has been no place to seek. I trust you completely. Ship of compassion. Looked at each other. Mother and son are reunited. No place to seek. I trust you completely. Mother and son are reunited. She grabbed him. Nothing but an old crone. Ziyong gave a great earth-shaking roar. Ziyong have an earth-shattering roar. Trust. Earth-shaking. Traveled a long distance. There is no place to seek. Nothing but an old crone. She grabbed him. What is this place? Tell me. I trust you completely. Nothing but an old crone. Come closer, come closer. I trust you completely. Mother and son reunited, earth-shaking roar. There has been no place to seek. From the day you left Spirit Mountain, there has been no place to seek. Nothing but an old crone. I trust you completely. Looked at each other. I trust you completely. This place contains all the elements, the past, present, and future, and all the myriad constructions that go with it. Just an old crone. I trust you completely. Nothing but an old crone. I trust you completely. Come closer and I'll tell you. In no present moment am I nothing but a crone. too big, too big. I've come to visit. There has been no place to seek. Oops, I just lost my place. We've got so many of them. It's so beautiful. Let's see here if I can find it again. Sorry, I lost my place. We had so many traveled.
I know where you were. I can keep going.
Okay. Sure, that'd be great. Keep going.
Come closer and I'll tell you. Nothing but an old crone. What is this place? No place to seek. There is no place to seek. Actually, I lost it too. Sorry.
So I think we got that. We got the feeling, though, right? Right. That it's really beautiful to hear these voices, and to hear all. And the cat returns. From Susan. It's true. He's right here. So thank you all for this really, really beautiful unfolding of this koan. And I feel deepened by your sharing. And I just really want to thank you for your presence and your wisdom, and for coming together like this for meeting. It's really beautiful. So our next hidden lamp is Bonnie.
August 9th, I think.
August 9th. So that's coming up. And I hope you can join again and again. Thank you. Thank you for the depth of what you brought today. Take care. You can unmute and say goodbye if you want.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Zenshin. Thank you.
Kayla, bye
again.
Everyone.
Stay well.
Audrey.
Wonderful gathering. Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you.
Always
you.
get so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, all my old cronies.
Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you.
August the 9th. Okay.
Thank you, Zenshin, for making this possible every time.
Thanks.
Getting old
Delightful.
is
Thank
where
you so much.
compassion grows.
Bye all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.